Because if you go to someone and you say, oh, I'm in love with you, or oh, I really, really, really like you, and this person has been like blissfully unaware the whole time that you have a crush on them, they're going to be like, whoa, that's way too much too soon. You're telling me that you're in love with me? I thought we were just friends. You've been acting like my friend this whole time, and now you're telling me that you're in love with me? What's going on here? Like, it's too much. It's too much to say to someone that you're in love with them, but if you're not in a relationship with each other. So only confess things like love declarations and stuff like that, or, really letting that person know how much you like them. Do that when you're in a relationship with them. Don't do it when you're just trying to get them out on a date or you're trying to get into a relationship with them. The truth about unreciprocated love. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about the truth about unreciprocated love. But before we get into this video, please leave a like on it and please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you have any tips and advice yourself, then please leave that down in the comments. And also leave down in the comments any topics that you wish for me to discuss in a future video. Thank you so much. So, the truth about unreciprocated love. So the first truth that I want you to know about unreciprocated love, because I feel like at some point everyone has been in this kind of position where you really, really like someone and for whatever reason, they don't like you back. So the first truth to understand about unreciprocated love is a quote which I really like and I use it all the time, and it's a quote by David D'Angelo, and it is, "Attraction isn't a choice." And by your own personal experience, you will know this, because let's say you're a straight guy and you know that you are not attracted to every single woman that you see. There's some women that you are attracted to romantically, physically, and there are women that you simply are not attracted to physically, romantically, in any way. So also that applies to everyone else. And everyone has this. Everyone has their own kind of preferences and have this kind of inner attraction, shall we say, like navigation system of how we decide who we're attracted to. And it's something that we can't help. It's something that nature has already installed into us. So one of the mistakes that a lot of people make, another truth about unreciprocated love, is that you cannot change that in someone else. And a lot of people, when they experience this unreciprocated love, they feel like they can change it. They feel like, oh, if I just wait around long enough, they'll fall in love with me. Or if I just become a good enough friend, then they'll fall in love with me. I'll show them how nice I am, and then they'll fall in love with me. They have to have that attraction for you in place to begin with. They need to at least find you attractive for them to even consider going out with you and start falling in love with you. So how do you know if someone is attracted to you? So one of the things that is a really good way to know, and it's the best way possible, especially if you really don't want to waste your time, because let's be honest, unreciprocated love is a time suck. I've wasted months wanting someone who didn't want me back, right? I've had that experience, and I'm sure you've probably have that experience right now, or at least had it in the past. So the way to tell is to actually ask someone out. Ask that person out on a date. Don't confess, don't say that you love them, because usually it kind of, what happens with unreciprocated love, and it's something that I've definitely done, so don't feel bad about it. It's something that a lot of people have done in the past, and that is, you get really attracted to someone and you're not quick enough. You don't ask them out when that first initial feeling arises for them. What you do is you wait months, you kind of keep on testing the waters for months and months and months, and then you end up falling in love with you and emotionally investing a lot into this person. And then you tell them that you're in love with them, or you make some big declaration, or you confess. When in reality, the best thing for you to do is to actually nip it in the bud as soon as possible. Because if you go to someone and you say, oh, I'm in love with you, or oh, I really, really, really like you, and this person has been like blissfully unaware the whole time that you have a crush on them, they're going to be like, whoa, that's way too much too soon. You're telling me that you're in love with me? I thought we were just friends. You've been acting like my friend this whole time, and now you're telling me that you're in love with me? What's going on here? Like, it's too much. It's too much to say to someone that you're in love with them, but if you're not in a relationship with each other. So only confess things like love declarations and stuff like that, or, really letting that person know how much you like them. Do that when you're in a relationship with them. Don't do it when you're just trying to get them out on a date or you're trying to get into a relationship with them. So when you first start having those initial feelings for someone, when you start thinking, oh wow, yeah, that person's really attractive. This could even be your first meeting with someone and you find them really, really attractive. That is when you should be asking them out, asking for their phone number, asking for their Facebook details or Snapchat details or WhatsApp, whatever. That's when you should be doing that kind of thing. That's when you should be asking them out on a date to see if they feel the same, to see if they are attracted to you as well. And if they are attracted to you and you ask them out like within like the first 24 hours of knowing them, then they will say yes to going out with you. And the person that isn't interested in you will either politely say no thank you, or they'll just say that they're not available to date right now, or give some other kind of confused thing, because sometimes people aren't very direct. So they might say something like, oh, I'm not really wanting to date someone right now because they're trying not to hurt your feelings. And maybe the fact is they're not really ready to date right now and they just haven't found someone who they want to date. But you need to take that as a no. Okay, so if they're not saying specifically yes to going out with you, to go on a date with you, any other answer to that basically is a no. Another truth about unreciprocated love is that it's your fault. So if you've gotten yourself into a situation where you're really, really in love with someone, that hasn't been anything to do with destiny. It's been nothing to do with like this kind of Disney tale, fairy tale that they are the one, It's got nothing to do with that. What has happened is you have put a lot of your attention and your focus on that person. So you might be listening to love songs. That's an action that you've done, and you've imagined them while you've been listening to these love songs. If you've been checking their Facebook account, scrolling through their pictures and stuff, getting more and more invested in them, that's something that you have done. That's an action that you have done. If you've been just dwelling upon them in your own mind and in your own thoughts, if you've been staring at them, these are all actions that you have done. And of course, if you do all this stuff and you invest all of this time into doing these things, of course you're going to become emotionally invested in that person. It's got nothing to do with destiny. It's got nothing to do with them being the one. It's got nothing to do with that at all. It's all to do with what you've been personally doing and spending your time doing, which is thinking about this person way too much. So taking responsibility for that is actually the first part to actually getting out of that kind of situation and healing from that situation. Knowing that these things that you've been doing, these little tiny little behaviors, these little investments that you've been putting into them has been your fault. Okay. Now, don't feel bad, because again, a lot of people don't really realize that they're doing this. They're kind of on autopilot, and then they blame it on something like, oh, they're the one, or it's destiny, we're soulmates, right? When in reality, it's not the truth. So in order to get out of that kind of situation, then you need to reverse that. You need to put your attention and your mind basically on something else. That's the only way you can kind of get rid of that. That's the only way you can stop feeling that way about that someone, is to invest your time into something else. Now, I say something else or not someone else because obviously you don't want to basically take all these behaviors and then convert it onto someone else and start doing that with someone else, because then you'll just be in another situation like this one. So you want to be redirecting your focus onto something maybe that's better for you and good for you, something healthy. So it could be a project, it could be like a side business, it could be your schoolwork if you're at school. Put it onto something that in that emotion, that intensity into something else. And that's how you get rid of that feeling, that emotion, that attachment that you have to that person. Now, it may not go away like completely, because if you're attracted to them, then you're attracted to them. Like I said, attraction isn't a choice, that quote by David D'Angelo. So you'll probably always be attracted to them. You'll always find them beautiful. You'll always find them appealing. You'll always find them handsome, whatever. But you need to get rid of that emotion and that investment in them. And the only way you can do that is by investing your time into something else. If you use your time to scroll their social media, whatever time you've used to listen to love songs about them and imagine them, when you've been daydreaming about them, that time when you have been scrolling through their Facebook or Instagram, looking at the stuff that they've liked, whatever it is, whatever you've been doing that's kind of been a bit obsessy, you need to focus that time that you've been using for that, and doing something else instead, so you don't fall further down the rabbit hole, basically. So obviously, unreciprocated love sucks. It's not nice to have an intense feeling towards someone and then to be rejected or to find out that they don't feel the same about you. Obviously that really, really does suck, and it's not a nice feeling to go through. So to avoid anything like this happening in the future, you must first find out, as soon as you can basically, when you start feeling attracted to someone, whether or not they are interested in you. You need to figure that out. And like I've said in the video, the best way to do that is to actually ask them out on a date and see if they would like to do that. And if they don't, then you know not to spend any more of your emotion, any more of your time on that person. And if they say yes, well then that's fantastic, and you can go on a date with them, keep on dating them, courting them until you two eventually end up in a relationship. But to avoid some mistakes, here is like a quick list of things not to do in that first stage. And that is not to tell them that you love them, that you really like them. You know, avoid being overly confessy, overly romantic at the beginning, okay? Only do the romantic stuff like saying I love you, giving them gifts, showering them with affection. Do that when you're in a relationship. Don't do that when you are just dating each other. If they're not your boyfriend or girlfriend, then they simply are not ready to hear those kinds of things, to have those kinds of things. If you would like to get in touch with me personally and you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. On the shop page of that website, you'll be able to find a free PDF download, which is a dating and relationship manual. If you read it and you feel like there's something that I missed, something that you have any critiques on, please let me know so I can make it the best product possible for those people that want it. Thank you so much. Bye guys.